Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Nakwam, watching for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, our honor and our glory to Yahweh. Ba'ashima Mashiach Malak Abishai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting for the second coming for Mashiach Malak Abishai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it to get built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. And shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, married and unmarried, holding down in the households and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom, shalom. And shalom to the elect of Israel, children, the ancient men, and everybody tuning in live. Kyoko Banyamyan, Kwa Israel 23, Vernon Brody, Joshua Brewer, the Don Israel, Divine in Nature, LOC, Ephraimite Ak, K Paradise, Lenora Michelle, Divash Branch, Rocco Merriweather, Nicole Johnson, Adania, Shalom, HBKN, Richard Perez, and everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Malak Abishai. We are still in the Feast of Dedication. We are still in the Feast of Dedication, an 8-day feast of righteousness, mirth, piety, holiness, and godliness through through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Malak Abishai. And we've been doing a lot of lessons and a lot of breakdowns pertaining to the Feast of Dedication. And tonight is no different, right? The secret dedication of the third temple. That is this Monday Night Fire's topic, the secret dedication of the third temple. And we'll go into that through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach Malak Yahushai. Again, the Feast of Dedication has so many layers that go into it, from the breakdown of the menorah to the 7 lamps of fire to the 7 golden candlesticks, right? To the oil not running out, to the might and courage and valor and faith of Mattathias, Jonathan, Simon, Judas, John, Eleazar, and the rest of the Maccabees of the Hasmonean, so-called Hasmonean dynasty, right? All the way up until the time of our Lord, right? So we want to be able to break these high holy days down on every level as we can, right? The so-called white man holy days or holidays, holidays, don't mean a damn thing, man. It's about drunkenness, mirth, revelry, folly, and banqueting and abominable idolatry. So we are slocking through the spirit. We're going to go through each level of the Feast of Dedication, and tonight we're going into the secret dedication of the third temple, right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All right, so let me get Araya in this thing.
Shalom, King.
Shalom, King. Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Right? So let's get right into it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So, we're not going to go do an in-depth breakdown on the first and second temple, right? We're going to go straight into the third temple, how we're the temple, and going through the priesthood. And because what's going on is the same spirit that we're moving in is the same spirit that our forefathers moved in, right? Mattathias had to flee into the wilderness. We're going to have to flee into the wilderness, man. They were fleeing into caves, and we're going to have to flee into caves, right? They desecrated the temple and the altar. In the ancient times, they're going to do that all again, right? So I want to get this precept first and foremost, right? Let's go to the book of First Maccabees, right? So first, let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. So don't read First and Second Maccabees as if it's never going to happen again, right? Now, not every detail is going to happen again, but the war between righteousness and evil, the so-called white man desecrating the temple, that's going to happen all over again. Us fleeing into the wilderness is going to happen all over again. Mattathias said, whosoever is zealous of the law, paraphrasing, let him follow me, man. And you have many men that follow him. These things are going to come back on the earth as they continually push this negative image of the Hebrew Israelites through mainstream media with misinformation, disinformation, sorcery, lies, witchcraft. It's only going to build up a case to try to overthrow the ministry and the servants of the Most High. And it's going to get to the point where it's going to be like the children of Israel moving in the same spirit as Mattathias and his sons in those days. Now, you're not going to be able to pick up a sword, and cut down the so-called white man. And these days, that was at that time, we're still going through that same spirit, right? So let me get this in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15 again, right? It reads, that which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past, which means history repeats itself, right? History will repeat itself, rather it's through regeneration, or rather it's through the sequence of events that these spirits continually do every time they come back on the earth, right? So you're going to have that same spirit of persecution, the same spirit of the famine of the word, the same spirit of the abomination of desolation. All these things are going to come back on the earth again in these days, right? But you got it, King.
Khan, that's right. Shalom, Israel. Right, I'm going to bring out this quick precept through the Spirit. It's 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, and verse. I'm going to start at, this whole thing is fire. I'm going to start at 70, right? It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. And that's talking about in the last days. It's not talking about during the time of Ezra. It's going to be a great insurrection. Kingdom is going to be against kingdom. Right? You're going to have rumors of war. You're going to have pestilence, violence, destruction. All of these things are going to brew up because that's prophecy. That's what the Lord has said from old. It says, they shall be like mad men. So these nations are essentially going to turn back into their ancient mentality. Right? You may see the Arab at the liquor store now or at the gas station now. He may say you're black and mild. Backwoods, cigarettes, whatever the case may be. He may smile behind that glass, but inwardly he's thinking about how you're going to smoke your life away, how you're poor, how you're a nigga, how you're nothing, how you're destroyed, how Israel has fallen. Some of these nations know who you are. And the Lord said this. He said, they shall be like madmen, meaning they're going to remember their nature. They're going to go back to the spirit that has been in the ancient times before. Esau hates us, right? With a perpetual hatred, like it says in Ezekiel. You have to understand these spirits, they didn't just disappear. Like, you don't just come to America and just get jolly and join hand in hand and forget about everything. The Lord's going to put the spirit on Israel to remember your ancestors, remember the rape, rob, and violence. Right before this truth, I've never been so angry about slavery in my life, man. But the Lord put that spirit on. And the Lord going to put the spirit on these nations and essentially Esau to hate Israel again. Right, them lynching niggas and them having picnics and them doing all of these different things, that didn't go away. That spirit is still here, but it's covered and hidden by hatred. The Lord said, let me read that again. It says, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. So if you fear the Lord, going back to the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, right, that beast, they're going to search you out. They're going to kill you. They're going to grab you up. And these things are going into now. The same way Mattathias rebelled, right, against all of their laws and eating swine's flesh and all of the abominable idolatries, right, the Feast of Bacchus and all the things they had going on, right, the same way the righteous is going to rebel against the sorcery presented before us. You have two options. You serve the beast or you serve the Most High. There is no in between. Cannot keep Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, Easter, and still proclaim to keep the new moon, right, the Feast of Dedications and Passover. You have to completely rebel. Completely come out of this system, which is going to make you a rebel. It's going to make you an enemy of the state. It's going to make you somebody that they have to kill and destroy. It says, spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So they're going to come house to house. The same way we didn't have any goods. The Lord said in 2nd Maccabees, let me get this quick precept. How the men of the Lord lived, right, once they rebelled against the society. It's the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 5, right, in verse 25. Who coming to Jerusalem, pretending peace, did forbear to the holy day of the Sabbath when the taking the Jews kept in the holy day. He commanded his men to arm themselves, and so he slew all them that were gone to the celebrating of the Sabbath. And returning through the city, with weapons, slew great multitudes. So anybody keeping the Sabbath, keeping the high holy days, keeping anything of the Most High, they're going to kill. The same way they did in the ancient time during the Greek Empire, the same time they're going to do the same thing. Spoil your houses, enter in, destroy you, reading on. But Judas Maccabeus with 9 others, or thereabout, withdrew himself into the wilderness. So when they were killing people, what happened? They was on the run. They were what you would call fugitives, pilgrims. They had to get up and they had to get out. It says, and live in the mountains after the manner of beasts, with his company who fled, Salaka, who fed on herbs continually, lest they should be a partaker of the pollutions. So the same way Judas Maccabeus and 9 others and the men of righteousness, they fled the same way we are in the last days. You got it.
Con, and I'm gonna read that history, right? Because again, we read Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That same spirit is coming back on the earth, right? That same desecration and abomination that maketh desolate. To think that that's a one-time event, or because you may say, okay, well, that happened already. I don't see that in the scriptures. That happened, right? Yeah, it happened. It's going to happen again. It happened in the time of the Romans, right? That was the first temple. That's like the second temple that the Romans destroyed, man. The one built by Zerubbabel, and that was furnished and added on by Herod, and they came and destroyed that thing, man. Right? So this thing is going to happen all over again. The first time it happened, let me get this first in Daniel. Right? Let me get 2 quick precepts. Right? Let me get this in Daniel. Right? So that's why we have to read these ancient accounts that we may prepare ourselves for what's to come. Right? Daniel chapter 11 and verse 31. And arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. So what is the abomination that maketh desolate? Well, the abomination that maketh desolate is when Antiochus Epiphanes IV went into the temple and and desecrated it by offering swine's flesh upon the altar. And he was popping little boys in there, women, raping them. You understand? Eating them, all types of abominations. Then he set up so-called Zeus, so-called Jupiter Olympius, inside of the holy vessel as they were spilling swine's flesh and walking over dead bodies of the infants, man. They were throwing infants headlong off the cliff, ripping them from their mothers, taking pork, rubbing it all on our holy vessels, right? So, hey, this Edomite, he's an abomination, man. Your so-called white man. Right, let's read on. Right, First Maccabees. Slakia, let's go back to First Maccabees. So you read about that in Daniel 11 and 31 as a prophecy, and then you see it actually being fulfilled in the time of First Maccabees, the first chapter. And you can read about it in Second Maccabees as well. Right? So this is First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 51. It reads, "In the selfsame manner wrote he to his whole kingdom, and appointed overseers over all the people, commanding the cities of Judah to sacrifice city by city." So he was sitting these top men out and say, look, y'all, it's time for y'all to sacrifice and eat pork. What if the so-called white man went city to city, camp to camp, rode up on you, man, with his army and say, hey, put your Bibles down, man. He brought his makeshift altar at the campsite, set it up with wicked men and all black, and held guns out and said, hey, look, y'all know it's time, right? Get down, get down. Which one of y'all want to live? Who wants to live? Then the brother, I got a family. I gotta live. I'm sorry, Aki. Shalom. So he take the swine's flesh and he put it on the altar, man. And then Esau put a big gold chain around him. And he becomes one of the king's friends, man. So they bring the helicopter down with the drop ladder. He climb up in the drop ladder and he peel off, man. So they were going by city and seeing who would sell their soul, man. Right? Let's read on. First Maccabees 1 and 52. Then many of the people were gathered unto them, to wit, every one that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land. And that's how it is now. Everybody's gathering to the so-called white man. If you want to break the law, you'll be gathering in masses to Esau. going through the wide gate that leadeth to destruction. Verse 53. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Just like Yahushua told them in Matthew the 24th chapter. Right? He said, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken about Daniel the prophet stand in a holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Right? That's 70 AD, but it's also going to happen again. Same thing that happened to the Maccabees. The Lord said they had to flee to wherever they could, man. You probably had Israelites in bushes. You read 2 Maccabees 6, 11 on down. They was hiding in caves, keeping the Sabbath, man. This is real life, man. So the days of kind of sitting behind a keyboard or sitting on your couch or your bed and the flat screen TV is playing, or your computer, you watch on your phone, or however this is going down, and we got to be prepared for massive persecution. We have to be prepared for the temple, man, to be attacked all over again. For the temple to be essentially plotted against again, man. Just like the ancient times. All right, let's read on. So the Feast of Dedication, you got to take that into account. Don't just light your menorah and sing a song, man. You got to think about the time when we have to flee. Cold against the elements, man. Right? First Maccabees chapter 1 and 53 again. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even wheresoever they could flee for succor. Now the 15th day of the month Caslu, right? This is the month Caslu right now, right? In the 145th year, they set up the abomination of desolation upon the altar and builded idol altars throughout the cities of Judah on every side, and burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. You see that? So they was going door to door, man. Imagine Esau kicking your door down, man. All he wants is the Bible. He don't want money. He don't want gold. He knocking you out the way, flipping your tape. Where's the Bible? Where's that book? It's going to be labeled as a propaganda of treason and domestic terrorism. Huh? He's going to find your Bible. You're going to try to get it back. He's going to hit you upside the back of the head, man. You know? Or you might not be there because you listen to the scripture. In Matthew 24, but nevertheless, you're going to rent these Bibles in pieces, man. All your notes, your highlighters, man. Your apocrypha. All he wants is the Bible. And if you get caught with that Bible, the king's commandment was, kill that man. The new enemy number one is the man that's holding the Bible. Not the man saying Allah or Wakba, whatever that madness is, man. Not the man saying, thank you, Jesus. Jesus is no, you're not a public enemy, man. Thank you, Jesus. No, the men that say, call hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. The men that do the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The prophets, the apostles, the teachers, right? The ministers of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's going to lead to what you call the famine of the word, and therefore it's going to lead to massive persecution. You got it, King.
Khan, that's the same thing that was going on during the time of Jeremiah. Jeremiah was prophesying the words of the Most High, and nobody wanted to hear it. And what did they do with the roll that Jeremiah had written? Through the hand of Baruch, you know, the scribe. The scribe, they burnt it with fire. But he said, I don't want to hear that, man. Nobody wants to hear the truth. You know what they do to the truth? They burn the truth. That's exactly what they're going to do with the scriptures. That's what we did on the right-hand side in the book of Acts, the 19th chapter. They brought all of their books together and we burned them with fire. What do you think they're going to do on the left-hand side? They're going to burn and bind, right, all of these Bibles. Let me get this real fast in Jeremiah. This Jeremiah, right, chapter 36 and verse 23. And it came to pass when Jehudi had read 3 or 4 leaves, he cut it with the penknife and cast it into the fire that was on the hearth, until all the roll was consumed in the fire that was on the hearth. Yet they were not afraid, nor rent their garments, neither the king nor any of his servants that heard all these words. And nobody in a position to where the Most High is prophesying against is going to want to hear these words. You think the so-called white man is going to want to hear his kingdom is coming down? They shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness. Everything that they have deemed as light, right, and hope is really sorcery and darkness. You think he wants to hear that? All this man's song and dances of parades and all these type of festivals, the Most High hates your solemn assemblies and all of your mirth and your festivals and all of your days. All of that's coming down. He doesn't want to hear that. And he's going to want to burn the scriptures the same way he did of old. Right? Let me get this quick precept in Revelation. Right? This Revelation, chapter 12, and verse number 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. And that's what this dragon wants to do. Carry us all away, whether it be by philosophies, by threats, carry us away by sorcery. He wants to carry us away so that we have no hope. We can't stand on our feet. It says, and the earth helped the woman and opened, so like the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of her mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. And you got to ask yourself, how are we going to war without a military setup? Right? We don't have any commanders. We don't have one man on earth that's fully set in charge where everybody would agree to that and follow him under Israel. Nobody's going to do that. This is in the ancient world. Our only defense of system and only hope and mercy is the Most High and his beloved son Yahushua. And if we're not on fire and we're not in his army and we don't know our opposition and know what to do in those days, then you're going to be like scattered sheep upon a mountain, just going astray, falling in ditches, getting captured, being destroyed, right? Being manipulated. False Jesus Christ on the earth, and you're praising him and you're worshiping, you're following disciples, and you don't know what the hell to do. So you're just following any and everybody to be safe. It says, went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which kept the commandments of God. So if you actually keep these laws, right, you're going to be an enemy to his society, right? You don't have to have an armor. You don't have to lift up a shield. You don't have to grab the AK-47. You don't have to be armed, right? You don't even have to say a threat. You keeping the commandments, the Most High is going to make them madmen. And as they're madmen, the Most High is going to put in their spirit to zero in who's keeping the commandments and who's not. It says this. It says, and have the testimony of Yahushua. The testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. That's what that's going into. So if you're going into prophecy, you have the testimony of our Lord and you're keeping these commandments. Nobody wants to hear the foretell of destruction that's going to happen to this man. So therefore, by default, if you're not preserved by the Lord, you're going to be carried away in honey. Right? You got it.
That's right. That's right. Right. So this thing is going to heat up, man. Right. So this truth is not about, you have, of course, you have your days of mirth and gladness and rejoicing with the Akim, or if you're a sister with the Aquath, but you really want to keep your mind focused, man. Keep your mind focused. And it's a feast day. You're in the house of mirth. After these feast days, there's another house you got to dwell in, and it's called the house of mourning, man. A lot of brothers don't like to go to the house of mourning, man. Right? Because your mind becomes bitter, man. I don't want to go to the house of mourning. I don't want to think about that. Stop talking about that. Who's going to lick the boot? They're waiting on somebody to lick the boot. Hope Uriah stands up. There has to be an Edomite back there to kiss the boot. That's what I want to see. And a wicked black woman he has just locked up. He's just going to pull her out and then get on her. No, that's madness, man. We don't have Edomites just chained up licking the boot, man, for entertainment. Just bootlickers in a big box, man. And we just let them out. Right? No, man. The truth is more than Isaiah 49 and 23, Isaiah chapter 60 and 14, Revelation chapter 3 and 9, right? And all of these accounts, man. Right? I mean, it's real hell coming on the earth, man. It's the real deal, right? Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6. And a lot of brothers don't like to talk about this, man, because it's the truth, right? 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and 1. Not long after this, King the king sent an old man of Athens to compel the Jews to depart from the laws of their fathers and not to live after the laws of the Most High, and to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in the place. So they want to set up Jupiter inside of the temple, man. Now I want to put up a quick picture of so-called Jupiter, the Roman, that's just the Roman so-called top god, right? The Romans so-called top god. Now look at this guy now. Imagine going into the temple, right? It's like, is the screen showing, King?
Lie.
All right, hold on. Let me try again. Right. Let's try this again. All right. See this? So that's your so-called Jupiter, man. A half-naked white man with an eagle on his left-hand side, man. That's what they set up in the temple, man. Or wanted to set up throughout the land of Israel. A half-naked so-called white man with a staff in his so-called hand and an eagle looking at him, man, looking at his hips. That's an abomination, man. And this guy almost looked like Caesar Borgias, man. You know, he resembles white Jesus. So this is the part of the abomination that they set up in the land of Israel, right? Imagine going to your house and that's all up in there, man. And if you don't bow down and damn offer swine's flesh in his name and say hail Zeus, you get put to death, man. Right, so let's read on the second Maccabees 6 and verse 2. And to pollute also the temple of Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympius, and that in garrison of Jupiter, the defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwelt in that place. The coming in of this mischief was sore and grievous to the people, for the temple was filled with riot and reveling by the Gentiles, who dallied with harlots and had to do with women within the circuits of the holy places. And besides that, brought in things were not lawful. So they was, like I said, they was popping prostitutes in there, man. Hold on, let me close this out. They was dealing with prostitutes. They was bringing little boys in, man, throwing them on the altar, right? And just doing God knows what with them, man. On the altar. Pour a damn a drenching swine's blood all on them, man. It wasn't just one so-called white man put a pig on there and ran out. No, that's not. Hey, they was getting vile. They was getting vile, man. Right? Now they didn't do that against Israel. They did that to the Most High. They would have did that to the Lord, man. Well, they did do it to the Lord. That's who they was really. We hate the Most High. That's what they were saying, man. It's pretty much a F you, man. Right? And not so many terms, man. That's pretty much what the Edomite said, man. When you offer swine's flesh on the altar and you dallying in the Lord's house and the Lord is there, what are you saying to the Most High, man? What are you really saying? You know, I'd do this to you if you was here. That's what you're saying, man. Come down off that throne. Look what I'm doing to you. So these Edomites are damn devils, man. That's what we call the so-called white man a devil. Look how proud they are, man, to do that in the temple. Right? Let's read on. Right, let's get one more on that. Second Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 5. The altar also was filled with profane things which the law forbidded. So crab meat, lobster, right? Damn pork blood, horse meat, right? Slugs, snails, menstrual cloths, and they lit it all on fire and they burned it up and said, "Smell this, God. You want a sweet savor? You want a sweet savor? You want a sweet savor?" And he lit it and said, "Take that, man." That's wickedness, man. That's wickedness. All right, let's read on. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So you can't even call yourself a Jew, man. You couldn't even call yourself an Israelite. And if you called yourself an Israelite and you was cut down, you was locked up, or you was put to death, man. And these days are coming back on the earth, man. It's easy to say I'm an Israelite now. Kwam Yashala. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Shalom. Right? It's easy to say these things now, man. Right? But can you say these things when the penalty is death, man? Or are you going to say, well, I'm just African American? That Israelite thing, nah. I was just playing. I was just going through a phase. You're going to have a lot of Israel fold, man. Because you thought this thing was about clothes, fun, debates, madness, women, and music, man. You thought this was the world. And you didn't count the cost of the evil that's coming to the temple, man. You got it, King.
Con, that's right. And like the brother going into, if you're not counting the cost, right, you're not going to stand very long in this truth. But this truth is not for fun. This is not a game. It's not a club, right? You don't want to just get on the internet and enjoy debate, strife, envy, and all type of things as if this is entertainment, man. Right? This is life or death. Right? This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 10, and verse. I'm gonna start at this whole thing is fire. I'm gonna start at 26. I'm gonna start at 25. It says, he sent unto them, therefore, this effect. King Demetrius unto the people of the Jews send greetings, whereas have kept covenants with us and continued in our friendship, not joining yourselves with our enemies. We have heard thereof and are glad. Wherefore now continue ye still to be faithful unto us, and we will recompense you for the things ye do in our behalf. Right? So you always have another nation trying to bribe you or tell you, you know what? I'll give you all the things you want if you follow us. If you're confederate with us. If you bow down to us. Right? If you're a confederate or you're tied with us. Right? It says, that's what King Demetrius did. It says, wherefore now continue ye still to be faithful unto us. We will recompense you for the things you do on our behalf, and will grant you many immunities and give you rewards. And now do I free you, and for your sake I release all the Jews from tribute and from the customs of salt and from the crown of taxes, and that which appertaineth unto me to receive for the third part of the seed and half of the fruit of the trees. I release it from you this day, so that they not be taken of the land of Judea, nor of the three governments which are added thereunto out of the country of Samaria, Galilee, from day forth and to evermore. Let Jerusalem also be holy and free, and borders thereof from both tenth and to tributes. And as for the tower, which is at Jerusalem, I yield up my authority over it. Right? So, I mean, this man is trying to give, gifts and all of these different things for us to be confederate unto him. Meaning, no matter how good a gift may be or may seem like it's priceless or you need it, you don't need to join hand in hand, because they're always going to recompense something for it. Right? You don't just get a nice house, a nice car, protection, the government, right, not being put to death without you giving up something. Whether that's you fighting in his army, or whether that's saying you're the king and you're my Lord, or whether that's putting your trust in him. Whatever it is that you'll get back from these nations, you'll always have to give something of you. These nations didn't say, you know what, that's just all come up and fight for Israel to set them free. No, it'll always be a reason why you have to so-called give them back something. Right? Jumping down to verse number 35. Also, no man shall have authority to meddle with them, or to molest any of them in any matter. So they know that they were molesting and coming up against and troubling the whole house of Israel, man. Right? And you can look at that and break it down manyfold. Right? So, I mean, these nations, they molest, they trouble, all type of things. They come up against us. And nobody's going to protect you or help you but the Lord. When you go into the Maccabees, when you read this book, it's really a book through the spirit of how the Most High raised up the righteous seed, right, of the Levites, these men, to fight against our oppressors. They teach you many things through the spirit. I mean, you can go into the law, reading the Maccabees. You can go into salvation, how the Most High is going to fight for you, right? You can go into that you can't have nobody lead you but who the Most High set up, right? There's so many lessons in spirit that you can go inside the Maccabees to read. Not to trust in your oppressors and your enemies. What happened to these men that trusted in their oppressors? Man, the Lord killed them. The Lord destroyed them. The Lord brought them down to naught, right? And I want to get a precept on that. It's the book of First Maccabees chapter 9, right? In verse number 54. Moreover, in the 153rd year, in the second month, alchemists commanded that the wall of the inner court should be pulled down. Also, the works of the prophets. I mean, he had coons too. And what do you think is going to happen in the last days? Brothers are going to turn on brothers. Brothers are going to hate brothers. Brothers are going to fall out the truth. Brothers are going to worship the beast. Right? That happened during the Assyrian captivity. Happened during the Greek captivity. Happened during the Roman captivity. All these captivities, you have men, right, that forsake, right, the righteous. It says, and as he began to pull down, even at that time was alchemist plagued and his enterprise hindered, for his mouth was stopped and he was taken with a palsy so that he could no more speak anything nor give order concerning his house. Right, so the Lord has shut up your mouth. You come up against the building and you be a opposition and to pleading with your enemies. So if you're not with us, right, you're essentially going to be against us. And if you're coming up against the building trying to pull it down, the Lord is going to plague you just like he did this man to destroy you.
And I want to get this in First Corinthians, right? Because we are the building, right? We are that building that's currently being built, man, by the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? These scriptures are manifold, man, manifold, threefold, fourfold. And like the brother said, man, the Feast of Dedication is one of the deepest high holy days that we have, man. Again, it's not just about lighting your menorah, man, and blowing them out, right? It's not just about eating your lamb, right, and drinking your wine. It's about the temple. It's about a lot of things, man. And we are the temple, right? We are the temple, right? Let me give First Corinthians, right? Let me get First Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 9. I'm gonna start at 8. First Corinthians chapter 3 and 8. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. So you're going to get rewarded according to the work that you put in the temple. Certain men, like we brought out, I believe last week, they didn't put their neck to the work, man. Certain people don't want to build in the temple. You want to watch people build. You're a watcher. Oh, look at him pick up that brick. It's a big, strong man. You're mighty. Big arm emoji, right? Sword emoji, right? Two eyes emoji, man, right? No, man. Hey, brother, put your brick in, man. Stop watching everybody work and put your labor in, right? Because you're going to get rewarded according to your work, and you're going to get rewarded for your lack of work, man. Right? A riot can't carry you to the kingdom, man. I watched all the Riot's cold cuts, did all of the video. He's carrying me. I got a gold ticket. I'm gonna hit him up in the day of the Lord. He's going to come get me. He's going to take me to the secret place of the Almighty. No, nobody's taking anybody to the secret place of the Almighty, man. Right? We're in the secret place of the Almighty right now, man. Under the shadow of his wings, protected from the sun. You know, nevertheless, man, brothers got to work out their own salvation, man. Everybody got to put their brick in this temple, man. Pick up that stone. And Nehemiah, they had a weapon in one hand, and they had a working instrument in another hand, man. And it was up all night and all day. Read Nehemiah. Read these accounts. They was there. Let me get this account real quick. Right? This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter, I'll start at 4 and verse 20. I'm going to start at 19. I mean, man, Nehemiah, man, the whole chapter is mighty, man. Right? Hey, how can you not read Nehemiah and just be, or how can you read Nehemiah and not just catch fire, man? You got to catch fire, right? Nehemiah 4 and 18. Just his mind, his drive, right? His drive and passion he had is going to rub off on you, right? Nehemiah 4 and 18. For the builders, everyone, this Nehemiah 4 and 18. For the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side, and so builded, and he that sounded the trumpet was by me. And the builders got their sword by their side, right? Our sword is the word of the Most High. And we're building as we teach and as we do the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Reading on. And I said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. And this work is great and large, man. Everybody wants to talk about the Empire State Building, the Statue of Liberty, the London Bridge, and the Great Wall of China, and all of these monuments and relics of the world. Oh, it took so long to build this. You can see the Great Wall of China from space. And well, nobody's talking about the third temple being built, man. This is the greatest work ever being made in any era. And it's being built by us, by the Spirit of the Most High. And back then, the work was great and large. They had to build the wall. And they were separated one from another. And that's spiritual. We're building a wall. Right? And Song of Solomon says, I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. So we have to build up our people brick by brick. And even if we're far one from another, we have to gather together as a nation not desired. Right? Nehemiah 4 and 20. And what place, therefore, ye hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us, our God shall fight for us. So we labored in the work. Let me read that again. So we labored in the work. And half of them held the spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. So they was laboring from sunrise till the stars came out, man. It's like 11 plus hours. Working, grinding, sweating, laboring, brick by brick, stone by stone. Reading on. Then you got brothers, I don't go to camp. They're out there too long. Jeez, how do they do it? It's 90 degrees. What makes you want to go to camp? Right? What's your deal? Why are you out there so long? Y'all still out there? Hey, these men was out there for 11, 12 hours, man. Doing the work of the Most High. Likewise, at the same time, said I unto the people, let every one with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us and labor on the day. So neither I, check out Nehemiah, so neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes, saving that every one put them off for washing. And that's literal and that's spiritual, man. Right? Nehemiah said, hey, look, we were laboring so much. Only time we had to change our outfits is we was washing ourselves, man. Then we put it back on. So that's how focused they was, man. It wasn't time for breaks. It wasn't time for vacation. It wasn't time for taking days off, weeks off, months off, years off. Got brothers say, I've been in the truth 6 years. My 7th year is coming up, the year of rest. Where's it at in the scriptures, man? Okay, you've been in the truth 6 years, you get a year of rest. And you can go back in the world for 1 year. Then you come back, right? You come back and now you're back in the truth. You took your sabbatical. And you let the grass grow. You didn't cut the prune, and you breaking the scriptures down wrong, and you're letting it grow so you can. No, man. There ain't no sabbatical. And you do it every 7 years. In your 49th year, you sound a trumpet and go back in the world again. Right? The Jubilee year of the world. That's wickedness, man. So the point is, Nehemiah and his men then put up their clothes, man. Saved everyone for washing, man. And we wash ourselves in the word of the Most High. We put our garment back on. And we repent, we pray, we fast, and we keep this work going through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's the passion you got to have to build this temple. Anything less than that is unacceptable, man. That's the level that the Most High has set up. That's the standard. There's always a standard. There's always a level of perfection and righteousness that we have to read and obtain to. That's it right there, man. Right? What you got it, King?
They got something called momentum. When you get that momentum up and you're trying to push something, if that momentum go down, all of that weight can crush you. The more you're on that race and the more you're pushing and you're keeping up that pace, you'll be able to sustain the amount of things that you have to carry. But when you lose that momentum, right? I mean, you could be going up a hill. I don't know how many brothers have a physical job or whatever case, but you have dollies at work and you put all your boxes or whatever case may be on your dolly. You may be going up hills, maybe going down steps, maybe going up steps, whatever the case may be. When you got that dolly and you put that stuff on it and you going up a hill, you get that momentum and you push, right? You're going to be able to carry all of those things with a little bit more ease. But the more you're going to have that momentum and you slacking, and those things get heavy. And they get heavier and heavier to where that weight starts to come. And now the momentum you have pushing, all of that weight is going to be reversed and it's going to crush you. So you can't take your foot off the gas in any type of level or any type of way. If I didn't do the things that the Most High put in my spirit to do, I would have been fell out the truth, man. Right? There's no way that you could just skip a day, Friday, then I'm going to come back on Tuesday, then Thursday, I'll think about it again. No, you got to continue on this thing as much as you breathe, right? This is the breath of life spiritually. As much as you drink, you have to drink water every day, right? As much as you clothe yourself, right? All of these things are spiritual that sustain yourself on a physical level aspect also. These things you need to survive. You got to have that same mentality in the spirit. This is Nehemiah chapter 4 and verse 1. But it came to pass that when Sanballat heard that we builded the wall, he was wroth and took indignation and mocked the Jews. And that's what everybody's doing right now. And Sanballat, you don't necessarily just have to be the other nations. Your family mock you, man. What are you doing? What, you got a menorah? What is that for? Who do you think you are? Jeremiah, Ezekiel? You always in the Old Testament. Just getting on you, mocking you, man. Right? You're going to come out of that one day. Right? I'm going to see you real soon. We're going to clap it up. We're going to have a ceremony. You came back home. And like all of these different things, they'll mock you and they'll laugh at you. It says, and he spake before his brethren, the army of Samaria, and said, what do these feeble Jews? Will they fortify themselves? And who's more feeble than the so-called black man? I mean, we're on drugs, we're poor, we have no fathers in the house, we don't read, right? We don't care about the Most High. All we care about is lust of the flesh and women. All we care about is drugs, money, and women. If you can get a so-called black man that, he'll never want anything else in life. He won't even ask where a toilet is, wear any type of damn clothing. If you give him some damn money, some drugs, and some women, he'll be in la-la land for the rest of his life. Well, we're feeble, man. We're not strong as a people. That's why it's up to the builders to build upon, to help, to fortify, to direct, to keep it close. It says, with these feeble Jews, will they fortify themselves? Will they sacrifice? Will they make an end in one day? So like in a day, will they revive the stones out of the heaps and rubbish which are burned? Right? The heap and the rubbish, meaning we're burned down as a nation.
Right.
Right? We're literally destroyed. Right? That rubbish is all of the workings of all of that dust of everything that's been burned down. We've been burned down as a people, man. Right? We're the most destroyed nation on the face of this earth. Right? Out of all the nations, out of everything that have been through upon this earth, we're the most destroyed. And they're asking, is it even possible? It says, now Tobiah, the Ammonite, was by him and said that, it's like even that which they build, if a fox go up, he shall even break down their stone wall. Meaning they'll never be able to build or sustain it back as it was before. That whatever they do build, even a fox could break it down, huh? And that's how it's looked at now. But we got to continue to build. And don't let nobody despise your building. That's another thing that throws a lot of people off. Or somebody may look down upon you. You may be the only one in your city, only one in your household. The demons may try to approach you, try to snatch away your mentality. Don't let anybody take away this building. Don't have that spirit of Sanballat and damn Tobiah, man. When you go to Nehemiah chapter 2 and verse 19, it says, but when Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah the servant of the Ammonite, and Gershom the Arabian heard it, they laughed us to scorn. So, I mean, I don't know how many brothers in this truth been laughed at, man, but your friends will laugh at you. Everybody will laugh at you. What do you got those things on? Right? I tell brothers all the time, when I first got my fringes and I put them on, I was like, oh, praise to the Most High, you know. Finally got my fringes. But now I love them, man. They're stylish. I mean, I throw them on my garments, my clothes, right? It may be a little, what's the word? Discouraging at first, right? Trying to put your fringes on. You finally put on a mitre. You never wore a mitre before, right? You look a little ridiculous to yourself in the back of your head. But now you love your mitre. You styling it up 4, 5 different ways. You got all the different colors, right? I mean, don't let nobody laugh you to scorn out of building and establishing what needs to be done. It says, laughed us to scorn and despised us and said, what is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? And answered I them and said unto them, the God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore will his servants will arise and build, but ye have no portion, no right, no memorial in Jerusalem. Meaning no matter what, we get laughed at, we get scorned, right? We get mocked. We're still going to raise up and we're going to build. And building takes time. So in order to build, I don't know any man that's just outside for 4 hours, 10 hours just building. You got to work yourself up, right? So take your time, repent, so that the Most High can use you as a vessel in there. You got it.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I remember the first time I bought this mitre, man. Right, I had a few mitres like this, but the first time I bought this mitre, I went to this spot in Highlandtown, and there's this. It was an Elamite. They owned the spot I used to get my mitres from, and he was like, "You want the?" He tried to sell it to me like something else, but in my mind, I looked at it, I'm gonna turn that to a mitre. So he's like, "No, you got to put it like this." He kept trying to sell it to me, but it was the way that they wanted me to damn take it, man. So I take it, and I was catching the bus at the time, so I take it, I buy it, you know what I'm saying? I do what I got to do, and I put it on, kind of how I got it on now. And then he walk outside, he look at me and do this. Like, why you wearing it like that, man? Like, that's not how I sold it to you, man. Then he shake his head and he looked me up and down, man. Right? And so these nations, man, and people, they don't know the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Abishai, man. This work, it's not going to be appeasing to everybody, man. They say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, man. That's a famous saying. And who is the beholder? Yahweh. Bashmi Abishai. When you behold something, you look at it, you watch it, you observe it. And this is a beautiful work that we're doing, man. Right? Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Abishai, man. This is an immaculate building that's being created, and every hand that's being put to the plow is going to receive a reward by the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Abishai. Right? Let's go back to I want to go back to 1 Corinthians chapter 3. So we're currently building this temple right now, right? And it's going to be chiefly founded with 144,000 stones, man. Right? 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 8. Now he that planteth and he that watereth are one, and every man shall receive his own reward according to his own labor. For ye are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are the Most High's husbandry. Ye are the Most High's building. So we are the building of Yahweh. Bashmi Abushai. And 2 men can't build it. 3 men, 50 men. This is a massive project, man. Solomon had thousands of men building a temple, man. I mean, read 1 Kings 5, 1 Kings 9. Really 5 through 9, man. He had hewers in the mountains, thousands that oversaw the work. And that was for the a second temple. This temple is more immaculate. We need thousands of hands on deck. Thousands. Hundreds of thousands. Oh, no, they got it. Those brothers, they got it. No, we don't have it, man. Oh, no, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. No, we don't have it yet, man. We need more laborers. That's what Yahweh said in Matthew the 9th chapter. Right? The harvest truly is plenteous, but what? But the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest that he will send forth the laborers into the harvest, man. So the laborers are few. Don't get it fooled, man. You watch that camp and these brothers and those brothers. It's just a lot of them, man. I don't really have to really do. No, man. That's the wrong mentality to have, man. That's the wrong mentality. It's time to get this work going, man. We pushing the end of this thing. Don't be the brother that come last minute and say, wow, man, damn, I wish I was involved. Right? Damn, look what y'all did, man. I would have liked to have been a piece of that. I would have no, brother, now's your time, man. To receive glory and honor, man, from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? Reading on. 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and 10. According to the grace of the Most High, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another buildeth thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. So the Most High could take us and turn us to wise master builders, man. Right? Meaning you know how to teach and use this gift and that tool and that tool. A wise master builder, if any brother ever laid brick, right? I had a job where we had to do refractory work back in the day, right? You lay the brick down and you take it, use the brick saw, right? And then you take it and you put it right there, and you got to take it, you know what it is, right? So when you're doing that type of laborer's work, it may seem easy, but if you put that brick in wrong, or you don't put enough cement or stuff on there, you hold it at the wrong angle, your brick saw kind of jammed up, it's not going to work out, man. Then you have professionals. They've been doing it 20 years, 30 years. They take their pencil, they mark it, they cut it, they do this, they put this right there. You want to be a wise master builder, right? You want to be a wise master builder in the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. Right? Reading on. It reads, for other foundation can no man lay than that which is laid, which is Yahweh HaMashiach. Now, if any man build upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. If any man's work abide, which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. So the Most High said, you got to build on this foundation, gold and silver. That's what we're dedicating, man. We're putting these things in the temple of the Most High. Gold, silver. Don't bring wood, hay, and stubble, man. What type of brother does that, man? What is wood and hay? Wickedness, man. And folly. Here we are doing the work of the Most High, right, brother? And you bring in damn nonsense, man. I don't even use that word, but you're just bringing nonsense, man. Comic books, and we're doing a breakdown. You bring this out, and you're damn freaking off, man. You're just bringing foolery. That's wood, hay, and stubble. Your sins, man. Weed smoke, whoremongering, right? Lewd sex demons, pride, false doctrines. This is wood, hay, and stubble. And it's like Cain, man. The Lord is not going to have respect into that. Cain brought the fruit of the ground. It says, and the Lord had respect unto Abel's offering, but unto Cain and his offering, he had not respect. The Lord is not going to respect you bringing wood, man. We're building a temple, man. This is not 4000 BC, man. We're building a temple of the Most High. Bring gold, bring silver, man. What is the gold and the silver? Your gifts. Are the men you bring into the truth? Talents. Bring these things willfully to the temple of the Most High, man, that you can receive a reward. And the Most High said the day is going to declare it. It should be, the day is the noonday. It should be the trials. It's going to be tried by fire. So your works and things that you bring to the temple, you may think is going to last, but the Most High is going to test it, man, because only the Most High wants the pure, unfiltered, strongest brick and strongest elements in this temple. So everything that you bring, the Most High got to try it, man, and examine it. Rather you bring another man into the truth or you bring this, the Most High has to see what you're bringing. And he said the day is going to declare it, man. And that's why this temple it's taking such a long time to build, because everybody's bringing things, but some of the stuff is being burnt. You know, this is you got to envision this, man. Imagine building stuff to a temple, then some of the stuff is being burned while you're building, man. There's some guys bringing wood and hay and stubble. That's how the temple's being built. You got Israel against Israel. Then you got people building, then one person breaking it down. You got Israelites fighting each other, man. Right? One put a brick, no, don't touch my brick. Then they get into a fight. Right? This we need righteous laborers to do the work of the Most High, man. We are the Most High's builder. We got to get this building done. Right? But you got it, King.
Con, I want to touch on that. Like you said, through the Spirit, everybody has to be tried through the fire. And this is what the Most High said in the book of Psalms, chapter 12, verse 6. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. So the words of the Most High are purified 7 times, right? It's purified perfectly, man. You got literally silver is purified 7 times. What do you think you're going to be purified? You may be already brought through the fire, right? You done lost your house, right? You lost your wife, your children, right? You done lost everything, your job. You still prophesying in the rain, in the midst of a blizzard, or you've been tried through the fire. But that's not it, man. You got to continuously be tried and continuously be tried. There is not just one fire. Just go through the fire that one time and then everything's good. No, you have to continuously be tried, man. The Most High has to continuously purge away all of the things that you don't see, because his eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, right? I mean, the Most High, let me read that again. It says the words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. So you got to go through that fire over and over and over. And there's even 2 things that's going to happen. You're going to start to embrace the fire and love that fire and understand that fire, or you're going to start to hate the fire. I've had enough. Right? This is getting out of hand. How much more? Why me? Right? And then you'll start to hate and start to grow some type of evil spirit against affliction, and to the point where you start to ease yourself into the cares of this life and destruction. Let me get this quick precept. It's the book of 1 Esdras, chapter 2, right? In verse number 18. It says, be it now known to the Lord, the King, that the Jews that are come up from you to us, being coming to Jerusalem, that rebellious and wicked city, do build the marketplaces and repair the walls of it. So not only was we building up the temple, we was building up marketplaces, we was building up walls. We have to build up the whole city, right? It's not just about a brother being built up. Right now he knows he's an Israelite and it stops there. Now we're on to the next building. And we have to continue to build, right? The cities, right? We're a kingdom. You have streets, you have palaces, right? You have all of these men that make up the kingdom of heaven. So they built up. We'll read that again. It says that rebellious and wicked city do build the marketplaces and repair the walls of it, and do lay the foundation of the temple. Now, if this city and the walls thereof be made up again, they will not only refuse to give tribute, but also rebel against the kings. So that's the mentality of these different nations. They say, you know what? If they build up marketplaces, they build up the streets, they build up the corners, they build up the walls, what in the hell would they need us for, man? And that's the mindset of them. If we build up and we start to read, we start to come into the understanding of who we actually are, and we come out of their educational systems, we stop looking at Black power, we stop looking at all of these different Yale or Harvards and these school systems, and we stop implementing our life and our understanding into his system, come back to building ourselves up under the ordinances of the Most High, then what will we need them for? Right? This whole man's system is predicated on us depending on him. Because that's even in the curses. Right? Through hunger, clothing, thirst, and one of all things, you're going to have to depend on this man. But once we start to depend on the Most High for everything, right, spiritually, we're not yield ourselves to this world, right, then we'll be able to grow. It says, now this city, the walls thereof be made up again. They will not only refuse to give tribute, but also rebel against kings. And what do kings do? Kings give decrees. Kings give laws. Kings give statutes. Kings give judgments. And if we get built up through the Spirit, these nations knew, you know what? They're not going to listen to us. They're not going to care about us. They're not going to regard anything we say. They're going to be so fixated upon their laws that they're going to be a kingdom again. And that's how you keep somebody down, by ruling over them in a mentality. Right? Yeah, you could beat their flesh, or you could beat their backs, and you could wrap a chain around their neck. But once you have their mind, you have them forever. Right? You got it.
And I want to get this in Revelation. That's what the Most High said this in Revelation chapter 11 and 1. It reads, "And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God, and the altar, and them that worship therein. But the court which is without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. And the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months." So the Most High calls us a temple, but he says, leave out the Gentiles. Why does the Most High say leave out the Gentiles? Because they're not receiving any promises. They're not the people of the Most High. This Gentiles is not talking about Israelite strangers and foreigners, right? Scattered abroad. This is the so-called white man, so-called Arab man, so-called Chinese man, Japanese man, so-called African man, Hawaiian man. The Most High said, leave them out. That's why Zerubbabel and Joshua, what did they tell the men? They says, you can't build with us, paraphrasing, right? This is not for us and you to build, man. They're not here to help us, man. We don't need the help of the other nations. We got it, right? Let me get that real quick, man. We got it, man. Through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Right? Let me get this account in the book of Ezra. Right? This Ezra chapter 4 and verse 1. Now, when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, and they hear us building the temple. They see in the videos, they're watching the brothers at camp. They see the word having free course. And they're watching this be built up, man. Right? What did they do? Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Asarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. Now, if they really wanted to build, they would have been there day one. If they've been sacrificing, you got to read that and read through these demons, man. These damnations, man. What you mean now you want to start building? Right? Now you want to, what you trying to get in this thing for, man? You saying you've been sacrificing. Where was you at when we came out of exile, man? You ain't give us no resources. You ain't help us out, man. You ain't check on us. You wasn't with us from the beginning, man. Now all of a sudden you want to build, man. Now you want to act like you have our best interest in your heart, man. Now you want to act like, oh, you're down, man. That's how these nations are. They'll come up and, oh, I love what you're doing, and you guys need anything? And hey, look, I've always believed in God, and the Lord loves us too. And I love black people, and I want to help you. Hey, no, man, we don't need nothing from you, man. Let's see what our forefathers said. It reads, But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us. Well, let me read that again. Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God. But we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us, man. They said, hey, look, man, you're not invited. This has nothing to do with you. Like I said, that's racist, man. That's a racist statement. That's prejudice. They would call Zerubbabel a bigot. Oh, he's racist. They won't let us build. It's like going to a job and he said, no, we don't want your kind. That's what Zerubbabel said, man. We don't want your kind, man. Your kind's not welcome here, man. Right? This is for the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man. Now, what did the Most High, and where's the next verse where it says, okay, then the Lord sent the man of God to Zerubbabel by night and said, oh, Zerubbabel, why hast thou treated the nations thus? Was I not with thee when? No, man. The Lord then sent a prophet to Zerubbabel to rebuke him for that. Was I not with thee when thou wast in the palace? Did I not give thee wisdom among the other men? Did I not show thee that truth was great? Wherefore hast thou transgressed against me and not accepted the other nations? Therefore, no, man, that's not in the scriptures. The Most High was with that. There's no rebuke against Zerubbabel for telling these nations you're not invited. Man. That's what Jake got to learn. Jake got to learn that, man. You got to learn how to tell these nations, no, you can't come. You got these Jake, well, he could come to the cookout. Oh, that's an Edomite. That's a white. You could bring him to the cookout, man. No, he's not coming to the cookout, man. Let us have a feast day, and let us find out that you brought an Edomite to the feast day, and you stuck him in. I can see why they grabbed up Paul, even though they went off. But I can see that, man. You brought a Gentile into the temple. The Lord said, "Leave out and measure it not." Imagine going to, you got 2 Edomites in there, man, with garments on and a border of blue, shofar, and he lighting the menorah. You come in lad, you come in there, you kind of late, and you see an Edomite lighting the menorah, right? Then he got his other Edomite right there, right? And it's a fight outside, and the Edomite fighting your brother. It's going to be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal, man. Right? Let me read on. So what happened when they told him, no, you cannot build with us? Ezra 4:4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. Hold on, I thought they always loved the Most High. I thought they said we've been sacrificing to God since the days of X, Y, and Z, man. I thought they said we love the Most High. So how come now, since you're not invited, why do you want to hinder the building now and try to weaken our hands? Because these nations, they can't serve the Most High. And they try to overthrow you. And if you accept them, you're going to be overthrown. If you accept them into the temple to build with you, you're going to be overthrown. So no, you're not invited. No, you can't come to the school. You can't come to the Shabbat. No, you can't join the prospect program. No, you can't join the camp. No. Ain't no, well, I mean, gotta think about it. No. Right? And we have no problem. Like I say, Jake has to learn how to say no. You always don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. You're so used to just being, just ho-hum about things. And well, I mean, no. Jake has to learn how to look in the mirror and say no. All right. So no, these nations ain't building with us, man. So they could stab us in the back. Hold on, can you help me put that brick up there? Hey, just help me out. And you pick the brick up and he stab you in the back, man. Then take the brick and smash you, man. Oh, I don't know what happened. He was lifting it and the brick dropped. Oh, that's okay. That's okay, old nation. Right? No, so these nations can't build with us, man. This is an Israelite thing. You got it, King.
Yeah, I was thinking as you were saying that they'll help you build and they'll box you in there. They'll push you in there and put the last brick in there and then jam you up in there. Suffocating them.
Right.
You can't trust these nations. If you feel like you could trust these nations, your mind not right. Your spirit not right. Right? You're not using wisdom at all. Right? This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 7 and verse 27. It says, so Nicanor came to Jerusalem with a great force and sent unto Judas and his brethren deceitfully with friendly words, saying, and that's what these nations do, man. They send friendly words, give advice. And I'm tired of Jake saying he's not that bad. Oh, yeah, he a cool white boy. He not that bad. He all right. Right, that's off. Because all it is deceit. It's a slick talk. Right, you may have a so-called manager, so-called whatever the case may be. Right, he's really a demon. Right, just because he knows how to hide it more than other people doesn't mean that he's all right. Right, the Lord said in the classic, and I'm going to come back to that one. Let me just get the quick classic in Sirach chapter 12. Right, it's the mighty book of Sirach chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse number 10. Never trust thine enemies, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And that's what they do. They humble themselves. They make it to where, everything's all right. They hold the door for you, right? Whatever the case may be, they shake your hand, they laugh, they tell jokes. They act as if everything's all right. It says, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Meaning he can never be all wiped away, because that which is crooked cannot be made straight. This man is crooked.
Right.
No matter how much you want to make him straight and compel him and force him and think and dream and plead and pray, he can never be straight. So to think that is a vain thought, right? The Lord said in the book of 1 Maccabees 7 and verse 28, let therefore no battle be between me and you. I will come with a few men, and I may see you in peace. Isn't that what he did in the book of Psalms, the 55th chapter, verse 20 all the way down? His words was as smooth as butter and oil, but war was in his heart. And that's all he does. Tries to overthrow you through flatteries. It says, he came therefore to Judas, and they saluted one another peaceably. Howbeit the enemies were prepared to take away Judas by violence. Meaning they had men in the cut. They already had a strategic plan mapped out. They already know how they was going to take him down. They already know how they met him, right? How many men was over there? How many men was over there? A backup plan, plan B. They already had these things already prepared because their mentality is war. It's not peace. It's never been peace. So as you build, you got to understand you got an enemy, man. And that enemy wants to take you down. Why did the men of the Lord have weapons in their hands when they were built? You think they were just having fun, twirling? Right? No, those weapons were the protection, to protect themselves and their brethren. You understand? Let me get this quick precept too, right? So you got to understand that you're building a temple, and that temple is of the Most High, right? It's the mighty book, right? Let me get this real fast. In 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Yahweh standeth sure, having this seal, the Lord knoweth them that are his, and let every one that nameth the name of Yahweh depart from iniquity. But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also wood and of earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. So like we was going over earlier, some brothers are going to bring in wood when they should be bringing in gold. Bring in all type of hay, dust, mortar, right? All things that are not going to be strong to compact themselves to be able to sustain the structure that we're building upon, right? If we had a hay foundation, how could we put brick on top of it? When we have a solid foundation, we have Yahushua. So to be able to build upon Yahushua, we need to have that same spirit and that same measurement and that same compacting. It says, but in a great house, there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, but also of wood and of earth, some to honor and some to dishonor. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use. So you have to purge yourself from the things of this life. You have to purge out all of that leaven, all of that hatred. But chiefly, if you're a workman, what do you have to purge out most, man? Slothfulness. The Lord likens slothfulness unto a filthy stone and feces. Right when you read the book of Sirach 22, it says, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified and meet for the master's use, and prepared unto every good work. And you have to be prepared. You have certain knives, you got to take out the so-called, whatever it is, the little sheath, right? You have to sharpen it up all the time. Right? You may have to take another so-called whatever utensil. You have to bend it a certain way, or you got to wash it. Now you got to always be ready for the master's use. Because what if you were out the spirit, all hell breaking loose, and the Most High sends the elect up to you, and you don't know what's going on? You have to wake them up through the knowledge of truth. Somebody needs counsel. Somebody's crying. Somebody's dying. Somebody's in dreadful need of counsel and hope. You got to be ready and meet for the master's use at all times. Whether that's to prepare to fight off a doctrine, got to be edifying. You have to have the spirit of counsel at all times. You got to be able to know these precepts to fight off these demons for yourself and your household. All of these things you got to be ready for. And if you're not, then I mean, how are you going to be meat for the master's use? The Lord has an armory, a weaponry. It doesn't have a bunch of dull knives and swords hanging around with dust and dirt and rust on them. Right? The Lord is a master. You understand? And he's going to use the sharpest of weapons. Right? You got it.
Come. And I want to get this. That's what the Lord said in Isaiah 49. The Lord made my mouth like a sharp sword. Right? And a shaft that he hit me, paraphrasing. Right? And another point, these nations, as the temple is being built, it's only so much that they're going to be able to try to hinder before, like we went into earlier, before they make war, before they try to burn it down. When you read about the time of Yahweh Shai and the time of the apostles, you had many small overthrows and revolts within the Roman Empire. You can read about that in Acts. You had Judas in the days of taxing. You had the man who led 400 men that were murderers in Acts, I believe the 21st chapter. Right, you had all these men that rose up and they kept rising up, and eventually the Romans, you have what you call the Roman Jewish Wars, which lasted from 66 to 73 AD, and 70 AD was the destruction of the temple. And right now there's all these revolts going on, spiritual revolts, man. Anarchy, the Hebrew Israelites did this, and during the ADL, and this happened, and this happened, and that happened. Eventually, once this temple is built, that's it, man. Once that last stone is laid, they're going to take this temple down, man. Right? That's what this is called, the secret dedication of the third temple. Because this is the third temple. And as they try to profane this temple and destroy the Israelites, Yahweh Shai is going to cleanse this temple, man. How is Yahweh Shai going to cleanse and remove the abomination of desolation, man? By coming against the so-called white man and lifting up the standard against him and cleansing us, man. Right, let me get this in. Let me get two quick precepts. It's Psalms 118 and 22. The stone which the builders refuse is become the headstone of the corner. This is the Lord's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. So the original foundation, like we're going into, is Yahweh Shai. He's that chief cornerstone. He's the foundation. That's why you can't lay wood, hay, and you can't lay that upon Yahweh Shai. How off is that, man? Here he just sacrificed his life to be the cornerstone. You bring hay. Just put that my little hay right there. No, man. Keep that, man. Right? We're bringing lively stones to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Let me get 1 Peter real quick, chapter 2. Right? And another thing about this, the temple is that we're the priests right now. Yeah, we're the builders, but we're also the priests. And we're doing offerings in the temple every day, man. Every day, and these Edomites know it. Right now, this is an offering in the temple. Now you can say, well, hold on, I don't see. I thought y'all was in your house. No, this is an actual offering, right? Going on in the temple. Right? There are many offerings that you do inside of the temple of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Look, before I get 1 Peter, let me get this instead. Salakia. This Isaiah 19. Right? This Isaiah chapter 19, and I'll start at verse 17. I'll start at 17. Isaiah 19 and 17. And the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he hath determined against it. So we're speaking about the men in the truth are going to make the world afraid, right? It's going to make the world afraid based off of the knowledge that the Most High has given us. Verse 18. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan, and swear to the Lord of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction. So the 5 cities in the land of Egypt, this is the land of Egypt. So the 5 cities represent the brothers in the truth. Doesn't mean everybody's going to speak fluent Hebrew and everybody's going to know you just stop speaking English. No, the word is going to be in your mouth. It's a dark saying, right? The language of Canaan is the Hebrew, the language of the truth, man. You understand the language of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So 5 cities are going to speak the language of Canaan, and the other 5 are going to speak the language of Babylon and the language of this world, and talk of holidays and talk of sports all day and talk of celebrities and talk of madness. And other men are going to talk of the truth and bound themselves to the covenant of the Most High God. Right? Reading on. Verse 19. And that day, here's the point, shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt, and a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. So the Most High said there's an altar being built right now. Literally, brothers are building an altar to the Most High. And these nations, they see it, man. They're watching the videos. They're stalking the channel. They're on the comment board. They're scoffing. They come to camp, causing confusion, sowing discord. They're watching the altar being built right now. Right? And that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt. That's a spiritual altar in America being built. And a pillar at the border thereof to the Lord. And there shall be a sign, it's like, and it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of hosts and the land of Egypt. For they shall cry unto Yahweh, right? Because of the oppressors, and he shall send them a savior and a great one, and he shall deliver them. So we're literally building an altar, man. That's deep. In the middle of Babylon the Great. And don't let the altar just go to naught, man. Take whole stones, man, like the law say, man. Don't take a half a stone, a quarter of a stone, chip stones. Don't put an iron tool upon it, man. This has to be pure by the work of the Holy Spirit, man, and continue building this altar to the Most High. You think these nations are going to like the altar that we're building? No. What did they do in the time of the Greeks? They destroyed the altar. What did they do during the time of the Romans? They destroyed the altar. What are they going to try to do now, man? They're going to come into the temple and take down the altar. That's why the brother read 2nd Ezra 16. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling, destroying those that fear the Lord. Right? We're going to be doing offerings, and they're going to kill the priests as we're doing these offerings. They're going to slay the priest. Doeg slew the priest of Nob. Nicanor slew the priest. They're going to try to slay the priest and mingle our blood with the sacrifices. That's what Pontius Pilate did, man. And Luke chapter 13. Right? Let me get one more real quick. This Luke 13. Luke 13:1. There were present at that season some that told him of the Galileans, whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices. So they was doing the sacrifices, and Pontius Pilate murdered them as they were doing sacrifices on the altar, man. And that's how it's going to be in these days. Pontius Pilate is back on the earth, man. And as we're doing these offerings and these sacrifices, and the so-called white man is going to come in and slay the priest, man. That's why this is, and Yahushua is going to have to cleanse this, man. Cleanse this temple of all of our blood that was shed. Remove the so-called white man from being inside of the temple, destroying Israel, man. And dedicate the temple all over again. What you got it, King?
Khan, that's right. Right. Let me get this quick precept. Right, it's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 2, and verse 15. And it reads, for we are unto God a sweet savior of Christ and them that are saved. So the blood of Yahushua rests on each and every one of us. Right, even rests on the wicked, because the Lord died for all of Israel. He didn't just die for 2-3 people. He didn't die for this camp and then die for that camp. He died for all of Israel, that Israel may have an opportunity, right, to come back to the Father, them that the Lord wakes up. It says, in them that are saved and in them that perish. So the sweet Savior, right, is the blood that's on Yahushua. Now, as we read, we pray, we give alms, right, we read, we do the work of the Most High, we give up these spiritual sacrifices of peace, thanksgiving, right, of a contrite heart. All of that is being received up to the Lord as a sweet Savior. It says, to the one, we are the savior of death unto death. When there's some brothers, they giving up smoking weed, right? They giving up fornication, hatred, right? Variance, drunkenness, slothfulness. All of these sacrifices are going up. Don't think that there are no wicked sacrifices you can give. You can only give righteous ones. No, you give a wicked sacrifice every day. When you turn the page and say, I don't want to read today. Man, F this. I'm tired. That's a sacrifice you're giving up. Because each and every one of us are covered in the blood of Yahushua. Yahushua is our high priest. And every one of our actions and our works are being received before the Lord. Right? Whether it be accepted, right, or not. It says, to the one we are a savior of death unto death. And to the other, the savior of life unto life. So you have the 2/3. What are they giving up, man? All type of evil spirits and evil sacrifices. Like when you read the book of Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 3 all the way down, and Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 3 all the way down, going into the wicked sacrifices that men sacrifice unto the Lord, as if you slew, right, killed the man, right, as if you slew a pig, right? You're doing all of these things, but it's not being received up to the Lord like you think they are. It says, and who is sufficient of these things? For we are not as many which corrupt the word of God, but as of sincerity, but as of God, in the sight of God speak we in Yahushua. So you got to take heed the sacrifice that you're going to be giving up, right? And I'm going to touch on that. It's the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, right? And I'm going to start at verse number 13. This is the mentality of the so-called white man, the different nations. He professeth to have knowledge of God. What does he mean with profess to have the knowledge of God? Meaning he's watching you. He knows that you profess this. He gets on the lives. He has the billboards up. He knows you call yourself a prophet. He knows you call yourself a priest. He understands the following that you have. He understands the amount of knowledge that you know and how you know how to break down the scriptures. Because he says himself, for he professeth to have the knowledge of God, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. So they're going to already identify who's calling himself the child of the Lord, who profess to have the knowledge. The knowledge isn't just knowing I'm an Israelite. The knowledge is of prophecy, the end times, the end of the world, breaking down Revelation. These men that are going to torture you, they already know what the hell is going on, right? Just like anybody that goes to war to take down somebody, they plan. They understand the opposition, where he's at, what he does, their weaknesses, their strengths, right? The belligerents, right? All of these different things, they know how to look and schedule for war. It says, he is grievous. Salakia, verse 14, he was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold, for his life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. It says you were grievous to behold. You know how the righteous, they don't like to behold two men holding hands. They don't like to behold an Edomite holding hands with a Jake. You don't know if this Jake is safe. You don't know if he's adopted, if he was kidnapped. You don't know what the hell is going on. That's grievous to behold. There's certain things that the righteous is grievously beholding in the land of our captivity. What's a grievous thing for the so-called white man is seeing you with your fringes on, seeing you prophesy, seeing you teach, seeing you with a family. These things are grievous unto him, to where that he rips out his beard and he hates it, and he throws up all type of demonic curses to try to destroy us through the hand of the spiritual demon Satan. It says, of his life is not like other men's. Meaning we're not like other men's. Meaning everybody in this society, they adapt themselves into the beast. We're the only nation that are different. It says, to behold of another, Salakia, other men's, his ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that God is his father. Let us see if his words be true. Meaning they're going to torture you. Let's see if this thing is really what you're making it out to be. I don't believe in the God of Israel. I don't care about the God. That's what their mentality is, man. I don't care about that. Let's see if this is really going to take place. Because we're ruling right now. We have the dominion. We have the power. We're the one that can shut you up and cut your damn tongue out your mouth. Let's see if these words you're speaking is going to actually come to pass. Right, let me get this last quick precept in second address. So they're going to want to torture you. And the righteous is going to hate these things. Right? It's as grievous as it is for us to behold them, it's vice versa. This is the book of second address, chapter 16 and verse 50. So shall righteousness hate iniquity. So as much as they hate us, we hate them. We hate these things of the society. I hate Christmas, Halloween, New Year's, Easter, all of these different things. It makes me want to lose my mind when I see these things. It says, so shall righteousness hate iniquity when she decketh herself, and shall accurse her to her face when he cometh, and shall defend him that diligently searcheth out every sin upon the earth. So the Lord is going to grievously search out He's going to look at all the grievousness on the earth and search all of these things out. Right? It says this, and therefore be not like thereunto, nor to the works thereof. Meaning, don't adapt yourself to this society and this land. Right? You got it.
Hey, and if you do, you're going to be cut down. What kind of priest is serving the Most High and you're a priest of the world, man? How can you be if you're a priest of the world, you're offering up heathenistic, ungodly things upon the altar, man? You can't be a priest and serve the Most High and serve the world at the same time. You can't eat at the table of the Lord and drink out of the cup of Gentiles, paraphrasing, man. Right? I want to get this in the book, Slaki. I want to go back and I want to get this account in the book of Daniel. Right? Let's go to the book of Daniel, the 9th chapter. Right? Let's go to Daniel chapter 9. And I want to read verse 27. Right? Daniel 9 and 27. It reads, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. And that's a prophecy speaking about how it originally starts off with the ancient world in the time of Cyrus and Artaxerxes, and it goes into Darius, and it links up and it shows how the men will go back and build the wall during the perilous times of Nehemiah, the 2nd chapter, the 3rd chapter, the 4th chapter. And then in 27, it goes back into the priests, man, and how the Most High is going to have that be cut off. So right now we're doing these offerings. Right now, brothers got to be like Onias, man. Read Onias. Or read Maccabees and read about Onias, man. Read that there are certain priests that are blameless, man. And certain priests, like the brother said, they got tortured. They got slain. They got slain in their innocency, man. Now, Yahushua, he's high priest, and we're other priests, man. We are a lesser priests for the Most High. Now, you can say, well, I thought the Levites were the priests. Well, the Levites are the priests under Aaron, but this is a different priesthood, man. This is a high office. This is a risky deal, man. You got to know what you're signing up for, right? You got to know what you're signing up for. Back in the ancient world, you have to wait 25 to 30 years old to enter into the Levitical priesthood. You have to wait. And the Most High is just bringing priests in one by one, man. We got our spiritual ephod on, spiritual garment, spiritual mitre, spiritual sacrifices, offering up to the Most High. Right now, when you go to the book of, let me get this account real quick. Let me actually read this. Right, this Matthew, right, chapter 24. You got to count the cost, man. You got to count the cost as a priest of the Lord. Right, Matthew 24 and verse 13. But he that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel, so nobody's saved yet. Nobody made it. We didn't make it. You didn't. Nobody made it yet until Yahushua returns. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world. It's like it for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And that's pretty much going on now, right? You got the word going out through the 4 corners of the earth. You got brothers in Hong Kong. You got brothers in the Philippines, Japan, India, Africa, Europe, the Americas, Alaska, right? All over the earth. You might have brothers in Antarctica, man, on some base, right? In the middle of God knows where, getting into the scriptures, man. So Israel is waking up. Verse 15, right? When ye therefore, and we read this, or quoted it, but I'll read it. When ye, because it's a point I want about the priesthood in this verse. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Now, when you look at the temple, you got the holy place and you got the most holy place. The most holy place is only for the high priest, or you may hear it also called the holiest of holies. Who's in the most holy place? Yahushua. We're not in the most holy place, man. As priests, that's strictly for the Lord. The priests of the Most High are in the holy place, right? You got the court, right? You got the holy place, and you got the holiest of holies, or the most holy place. So inside of the holy place, you have the table with the 12 showbread, 12 loaves of showbread on the right, and you have the candlestick, and you have the altar of incense kind of on the north, right, facing towards the most holy place. And that's where all of the men are right now, right? And all of the men are in a holy place. All of the men are lighting the menorah, bringing light. All of the men are bringing the bread, and all of the men are the Most High doing the incense, man. It's not in different courses. This is a different kind of priesthood in the holy place, man. In the ancient world, you have to wait on your course. You might be 2 weeks at home, 3 weeks at home, then you might be out there lighting the incense. You might be working your 24 courses, you with your family, then it's your calling, then you come back, right? Then you have priests that were doing the offerings in the outer court, and you have priests that was working with the laborers. There's a lot of different work with the priests, and a lot of different offerings that were going on in the holy place. But the point is, they're going to come in the holy place, man. They're going to come into the temple and not the outer court, because that's for the Gentiles. Measure it not. They're going to come into the holy place where the children of Israel are doing the work of the Most High, man. Right? And they're going to come by surprise. And the Most High said, you're going to see them come. You know, you're going to see these tanks in the streets. You're going to see these, what they call them, I hear these air raid sirens, man. You're going to hear national, they show you that in the movie. Brothers been talking about it all day. Leave the World Behind, man. Right? If you haven't seen that movie, check it out. Right? Leave the World Behind. And they had the national emergency that came up, man. And they didn't know what's going on. All of the channels are blocked. Right? They said that America, I'm not going to spoil the whole movie, but they say, hey, look, it's America shut down, man. I'm going to just put it out like that. Right? And everybody was kind of caught off guard, man. Blackout, power went out. All hell broke loose, man. So you're going to know, as persecution increases, you're going to have false flags. Brothers are going to get jammed up. Men are going to become martyrs. And it's going to get to the point where they do a whole invasion, man. You're going to see these tanks. It's going to turn back to a draconian martial law state. Men are going to be out there with their rifles, man. If they see you holding camp, they'll kill you. Let me get this in 2nd Ezra, right? Chapter 16, real quick. 2nd Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 40. It reads, O my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. So you're going to be a pilgrim, man. You're going to have to leave the holy place. And you're going to be a pilgrim on the earth. Then it happened with, like the brother read earlier, with Mattathias. They had to leave and go into the wilderness, man. And they were eating of the herbs, and they were in the mountains. So we're going to be pilgrims on the earth, man. You're going to be, you could be somewhere. You might be in damn LA. You might end up in Kansas, man. You might hear dogs after you. You might hear, you might be isolated for a while. You might run across a mansion with food. You might not, man. You might be hemmed up for 10 days. That you got to be faithful unto death. So the whole temple is going to be defiled, man. Everything is going to be abominated, if that's the word for lack of better terms, by the so-called white man, man. With bloodshed of the saints and the offerings of wickedness and sin and rage and malice. You got it.
Come, that's right. Right, it's the book of Mark, chapter 13, and verse number 1. It says, and as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples saith unto him, Master, see of what manner of stones and what buildings are here. And this is the physical temple, but this is spiritual too. It says, and Yahushua answered, said unto them, so like unto him, seest thou these great buildings? And there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So that's the Romans coming in and destroying and utterly massacring all Jerusalem. And that's exactly what's going to happen through the Spirit. Because Jerusalem just represents the holy city. Right? That's the throne of the Most High. That's what the Most High was. It's the city of David. Right? It's just representing us, Jerusalem. right? And the stones represent the men, right? And the Romans are just as they are today, man, through the Spirit. Right? This is nothing but the Roman Empire all over again. The brother brought out the precept earlier, right? It's nothing new under the sun. That which has been is that which shall be. Right? These things are going to come, and it's going to exactly happen, right? The destruction, us being destroyed, right? Certain men giving up, right? Certain men cast down. These things are going to happen all over again. It says, there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So Yahweh already knew that the destruction of the temple was going to happen. When you read the book, right? You don't got to necessarily get it. Well, matter of fact, let me get it through the Spirit. Right? Let me get this real fast. The book of Luke, chapter 19, and verse 41. And when he was come near, and he beheld the city, and wept over it, saying, if thou hast known, even thou at the least, in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. So know that the Romans were coming in with that trench to cast about to utterly destroy. For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee and compass thee round and keep thee in on every side. I mean, you're not going to be able to escape. That's what that's saying. They're going to literally compass the whole city. They're going to put all of these different things you're not going to be able to escape or get out. And they shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children with thee. So imagine all of your children, man. The 3-year-olds, the 2-year-olds, right? The 4-month, or whatever the case may be, the newborns, right? The 5-year-olds, even the 10-year-olds. All of your children, right? Like it happened before. The Most High didn't have mercy or preserve them. They were killed in cold blood, murdered, stabbed, ripped apart, right? Destroyed, cast over headlong. What do you think is going to happen these days, man? Your children have on fringes. Your children know the truth. Nobody's safe. Like, nobody's going to be, okay, well, these are the children, you know, whatever the case may be. No, the Lord said that they not even want to have mercy right on the old of age and the young, paraphrasing greatly. When you read Jeremiah, the 5th chapter, and when you go into the curses. So these nations, they don't care about your children. They'll kill them and utterly destroy them. And the Lord knew that, and he was prophesying the siege of Jerusalem, which is going to happen all over again through the Spirit. Well, let me get this quick precept. I want to go into the priest too. It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 16, and verse number 23. 1 Maccabees 16 and 23. As concerning the rest of the acts of John and his wars and worthy deeds which he did, and the building of the walls which he made, and his doings, behold, these are written in the chronicles of his priesthood. So he had a whole book of chronicles of his priesthood. It wasn't just the things that we have written down. And even Judas Maccabeus and all his wars, all of that's not written. Because he had so much he did, so much he conquered, so many Edomites he killed, right? So much righteousness he built through the Spirit that it wasn't even beheld in the book of 1st and 2nd Maccabees. The same way with the priesthood. Imagine this man's priesthood and the things that he did were so vast that he had a whole chronicles of his priesthood from the time he was made high priest after his father. And that's the spirit we got to be in, man. We got to be in that same spirit. This man was on fire. He did all of the works of the Most High, right? And all of his chronicles was written down upon a book of priesthood, man. And we want to be them righteous priests. We don't want to be like the priests during the time where Malachi was getting on them, where they wasn't handling their business upon the temple, right? They were doing all wicked sacrifices, and they wasn't handling things the way they should be. We want to be like after the spirit of John and the acts and the wars and the walls he built and all of the priesthood which he sustained through the Spirit. You got it.
Kind of, and I want to touch on Matthew 24 and 17. Right, spoke about children and the perils that man is going to go through at those times, man. It's going to be dangerous times. But if you keep your faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and the Lord said, there should no evil happen unto the just, in Proverbs 12 and 21. Right, Sirach 33 and 1. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, in Isaiah chapter 54, man. 17. Right, the Lord said, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Isaiah 65, 13 on down, or 12 on down. So you got to remember these accounts, man. Right? Don't be scared. If you're fearful, you're not going to make it. Right? You simply being fearful of what's to come is going to get you destroyed. That's Revelation 21:8. The Lord said in Ecclesiastes 12 on down about woe to him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Man. So now is the time to build up your faith. Now is the time to pray that the Most High drives away that fear from you, man. Perfect love casteth out fear, man. You want to have to have confidence in the Most High. The Lord said, be thou faithful unto death in Revelation 2:10, and I will give thee a crown of life. So you got to be faithful, even if you got to die for this truth, man. Right? Matthew 24 and verse 17. Let him not, Slakia, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. So these days are coming, man. Or children may be burdensome. Like we always say, hey, your child might cry, give up your location in the wilderness. I'm hungry. Where are we going? Where are we going? I want to eat. I'm tired. What's this? What's that? Who's this and who's that, man? Right? And that could be grievous, man, to a man of understanding. Right? That's what the Lord said. Woe unto them that are with child, man. You hide in the cave, and all you hear is, oh, right? Your child don't know what's going on, man. Then you hear a bunch of footsteps coming your way, and now you got to go. Right? Your child, the nursing, or whatever the case may be. When? Then a bunch of wild beasts start changing their places, man. Right? So, hey, it's going to be a big deal. But you got to keep your faith in Yahweh Bashmi Awashad, man. Ain't no daycare. No, I'm going to just drop him off at daycare for Jacob's trouble, and I'll pick him up for the chariots come. Right? No, man. There's no just heavenly daycare. That's why you got to make sure that you on fire and you in the spirit, man. That you and your household could be saved by the grace of the Most High. Right? Read on. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath days. So a flight is coming. Right? It's going to be the children of Israel on a flight. Not an airline, but on a run. You're going to be on a run. The Lord said, you better pray it don't happen in the wintertime. You don't want to be out there and it's 10 degrees, man, in Jacob's trouble. Just like that. It's this month of December, and now you out, man. Esau going door to door. That's not a good time, man. Or it's the Shabbat, man. You resting and you saying your prayers, and he just throw the whole spirit off. When you go into the history, the siege of Jerusalem by the Romans, it was 3 days before Passover. He did it 3 days before Passover. He knew that would be the time when it would be the most Jews, man. Let's see how many we can kill. Let's get them all in there, right? All of the Jews down there, and we're going to start the siege 3 days before the Passover. That's wickedness, man. They went to war against us on the Sabbath. Pompey did the same thing. When Judea was sieged in 65 BC, and he did it on a Sabbath. That's what the Most High said. Pray that you don't do it on the Sabbath. I mean, that your flight is not on the Sabbath, because that's how these devils get down, man. Bunch of cowards. Right? They'll try to get you on the Day of Atonement when you're fasting, man. Right? Reading on. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So that's going to be more tribulation than the 70 AD and the transatlantic slave trade and the sub-Saharan slave trade and the time of the conquistadors and Cortez and Columbus. It's going to be worse than that, man. That may be unimaginable, but that's what the Most High said. It's going to be worse than those days, man. Right? So we have to arm our mind and be prepared for the time to come. Right? It reads, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. I mean, if the Most High didn't cut time short, everybody would die. If he didn't come back and say, look, I got to cut time short, nobody's going to live, man. Everybody would perish. But the Most High has to have a remnant. So he has to cut the time short of persecution. So for the elect's sakes, because they got to make it out of here according to the promise, he got to shorten the days of massacre that are coming on the earth, man. Right? And then you got it, King.
Con, I want to touch on that too. It say in First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse number 32, they pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they encamped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day. So they knew exactly we were at rest, we were relaxed, we were reading, right? We were minding our business, we were tending to our households, right? We were teaching, whatever the case may be. And they say, you know what? This is the time we could come up against them. This when they at rest. This when they relax. This when they're in deep meditation and prayer. This when they're giving their mind into the laws of the Most High. You know what we're going to do? We're going to encamp around them and kill them. So it's fitting through the spirit that they may have this type of, destruction upon one of the days where Jake may be at ease on a high holy day in the middle of the winter. Like when they catch you when you least expect it, spirit. Because that's what they do. That's what animals do. They stalk you, they watch you, and right when you got your back turned, that's exactly when they pounce. They destroy. It says, and they said unto them, let that which ye have done thereunto suffice, and come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day. Right, so they try to get them to profane the Sabbath day and camping around them, right, to kill them. It says, we read that. So they gave them the battle with all speed. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stopped their places where they lay hid. Right, so I mean, at that point, when you keep reading, they say, you know what, if they come up against us on the Sabbath day, we're going to have to fight, man. It is what it is. We're not going to die in great number just because they're coming up against us. So they use these wicked tactics to try to use our laws against us to overtake us and kill us in the midst where we're at peace. And that's how the so-called white man get down. Right? This is the book of John, chapter 15, and verse 18. It says, if the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. And the Lord is warning you and letting you know that whatever you dealt with and whatever you deal with, I had to deal with. I have dealt with it. So don't take it as a shock, or don't take it as something brand new that's coming upon you, because our fathers have went through these things. It says, if you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but because I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. And they really don't hate you. They really hate the Most High, because you're walking in the Most High's image through His Son Yahushua. They hate you, but they really hate the Most High. They hate Yahushua. They hate the Most High. They hate all of the works of righteousness. So when you implement that and come in the image of that, they're going to hate that. They despise His image. It says, remember the word that I have said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. Meaning they scoff the Lord even in His own house, even amongst His own countrymen, right? Even in amongst, right, there's a people that tried to come up against Him and stone Him, cast Him over headlong, right? Chase Him out the city. It says, if they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. So if they persecuted the Lord, what do you think is going to happen to the servant if they did that to the master? What do you think essentially is going to happen? We're going to be persecuted. The Lord said, let me get this last precept. It says, all of them that live godly in Yahushua shall suffer persecution. Right. So if you're living godly and under the laws and the statutes and commandments, if that's your lot, you're not preserving until the end to be beamed up, then you're going to die a grievous death, whether it be by torture, being slain, right, killed, whatever the case may be, by the sword, right? These things are going to happen to you. This is 2 Timothy 3, right? And I'm going to start at verse number 14, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 12. It says, yeah, and all that will live godly in Yahushua HaMashiach shall suffer persecution. So Paul's letting you know from 10 all the way down that these men, you know what I'm saying, he's done long suffering. He's been through patience. He's endured all of them. Read 2 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, verse 22 all the way down. Paul endured a great fight of affliction, man. Read the book of 2 Timothy chapter 4, right, verse 5 all the way down. These are the things that you have to endure. And it's going to be hard through the spirit, but you can't be fearful or afraid or frightened. You got it.
That's right. And I want to show this quick article real quick. This is from Livius, right, which is an ancient historian of the Roman Jewish wars, right? Let me make sure this is showing. Let me pull this up. So this is about the Maccabees, right? And John Hyrcanus, which is one of the descendants of Simon. Right now, it goes into Pompey, which was one of the triumvirate of the Roman Republic, how he came and took down Jerusalem in 65 or so BC. Right? Listen to this, right? Hyrcanus' followers allowed Pompey to enter to the lower town of Jerusalem. So you had a lot of men that wanted to make a league with Esau. Let's just let them into Jerusalem, right? But Aristobulus, adherents, the Sadducees, still occupied the temple. In the west, there was a bridge between the temple and the city, but this had been destroyed. In the south and east, there were deep valleys. Therefore, Pompey decided to attack from the north. So Jake let him in, said, hey, come on, destroy Jerusalem. They only worked on the siege dams on the Sabbaths because the Jews could defend themselves on that day, but were not allowed to attack. So they know that stuff, man. You could defend yourself, they know, but they say you can't attack anybody on the Sabbath. So they say, okay, all right, let's use that, man. When the siege dam was completed, towers were rolled toward the wall of the temple. Catapults kept up a continuous pressure by hurling heavy stones. A battering ram broke the wall, and Pompey's soldiers entered the temple terrace, where they started to kill the defenders. That's the same thing that's going to happen all over again. Right? The wall that's being built, they're going to start cutting the men of the Lord down, man. They're going to enter into the temple on a spiritual level and kill the defenders. It says many Jewish, right? We know Israelite soldiers committed suicide because they did. It's like because they did want. It's like because they did want to see, probably did not want to see the profanation of the sanctuary. When the Romans controlled the temple, Pompey and his officers entered the Holy of Holies. According to the Jews, a blasphemous act, because only the high priest was allowed to enter this room. The conqueror saw the menorah, the treasure, and all sacred vessels. His soldiers seemed to have sacrificed to their standards. So they had their Roman standard. They would put up there and they would offer it up to their God. All right, they would offer it up to their God. Next day, he ordered the cleansing of the temple, and he appointed Hyrcanus as high priest. So they let Esau come in there and just do God knows what, man, for Hyrcanus, who sold out to Pompey. Right? I just want to bring that out. So that shows that they know about the Shabbat, man, and they use it to their advantage, and they did it back then. They did it back then. So that's one of the major things prophetically you want to watch out for, man. When you start seeing things heat up or you start seeing these tanks, see, the abomination of desolation is not just a Roman soldier with a big Roman shield with the red shield and he got his armor on and you expecting that. No, man, it's this man's military. This man's military might. And the Feast of Dedication is about the cleansing of the temple. So when Yahushua returns, like we're going into, let me get this precept real quick. What is Yahushua going to do, right? When he returns, this Isaiah, he's going to have to, he's cleansing it, man. He's going to remove the filth, the abomination, just like Judas did, just like Simon did, just like the Maccabees did, man. They removed all of the filth that profaned the temple. And that's what's going to happen to the so-called white man, and his army and his military might. Right? Let me get this in Isaiah chapter 59. Quick precept. Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. The spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, said the Lord. So the Lord is coming back to do a lot of killing, man. right? He's going to do more killing than Judas Maccabees did. Simon, right? More than Jonathan did, man. And we as the temple, the Most High is going to purify us, man. Most High is going to purge away our sins, give us spiritual bodies, destroy the so-called white man. We're even likened unto jewels, man. The Most High say he would make up his jewels. We're likened unto gold and silver, man. So these are the things that the Most High is going to do. And it's a figure. All these high holy days really lead to Yahushua. Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Tabernacles, Feast of Weeks, Day of Atonement. There's not one high holy day that doesn't lead to Yahushua. So even a Feast of Dedication, it leads to Yahushua, man. Right? When you go through how the temple is being built, how we're going into, and how the temple is going to be profaned, and how it's going to be cleansed and dedicated again when Yahushua returns. Right? You got it, King.
Con, right? And when these things kick off, it's not going to happen slowly, right? It is what it is, right? Esau going to be going door to door, grabbing up Jake, locking him up, concentration camps, brought to councils, right? Brought in charges being brought upon you, right? Executions, all of these things are going to happen simultaneously, right? That's going to be the hour of temptation in the midst of Jacob's trouble, which is going to lead and be in the midst of World War III, and the Lord is going to come back. That's why you got to stay vigilant and keep watching and endure during these troublous times. This Isaiah chapter 17, verse 12. Woe to the multitude of many people, which make a noise like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters. And that's the same rushing of all of those nations on waters that's going to try to compass you, to overthrow you. Or you even read about that in the book of Psalms, the 18th chapter, verse 4 all the way down. It says, the nations shall rush like the rushing of many waters, but God shall rebuke them, and they shall flee afar off, and they, Slakia, shall be chased as the chaff of the mountain before the wind, and like the rolling thing behind the whirlwind. And behold, at eventide trouble, and before the morning he is not. This is the portion of them that spoil us, in the lot of them that rob us. So we've been robbed. We're going to be spoiled. We're going to be overtaken. And a flood isn't nice. A flood isn't friendly. Right? You don't just move waves out the way, man. Waves are going to destroy you. They're going to knock you left. They're going to knock you right. But more importantly, why is the Lord using a similitude as a flood? Because a flood carries you away. And there's nothing you can do about it. Just like we were carried away captives. Just like we're going to be carried away to these concentration camps. There's not an amount of so-called swords, armors, or guns you could have that you could stand up to the so-called white man on a carnal level. You have to have the Most High with you. That's why you're going to get carried away, but the Most High is going to lift up that standard against him. And at the end, whether you be slain, slaughtered, or destroyed, that doesn't mean that the Most High departed from you. See, Jake had a mentality that if they don't get beamed up, it just destroyed and you just didn't make it. I mean, look at all of our fathers that died in the name of the Lord, man. Look at Matthew, Mark, right? Look at Peter. Look at Andrew. Look at Yahushua. Look at these men that were before us. Look at Isaiah. These men all died for the Most High. So whether you see the Lord in the air, right, and landed upon earth in a lot in the last days, or be a martyr, you still can have salvation. Right? I mean, I was reading yesterday through the Spirit, 2 Maccabees 6 and 7. Right? I read a couple of chapters, right? 5, 6, 7, and amongst other things. But when I was reading 6 and I was reading 7, right, it really was doing something to my spirit, because these men, they looked at the laws above all things. They didn't look at it as just pork. They didn't look at it as just lobster. Jake got the mentality now, oh, I'll make it up or I'll repent. Or it's just pork, or the Yahushua has mercy, stop being over righteous. They were ready to die. And people kind of weigh dying on a scale. Okay, I'll die for my daughter. I'll die for my wife. I might die for my brother. But pork, you start to weigh the laws as if I'll do this, but I won't do that. No, they was dying for everything in the law, no matter what it was. Because that was the spirit that they had upon them to worship and keep, right? Whether it be the Sabbath day, whether it be not eating shrimp, crab, and lobster, whether it's not eating pork, those men were ready to die for the Most High, no matter what. You got to have that mentality, man. No matter what they try to get you to do, don't weigh it in your head. It's not that deep of a sin. Let me just yield right now. Right? Maybe, okay. It's not as if they have me to bend over. They're not popping me. Let me just do it. Right? Whatever the hell's going on, don't bow down to the so-called white man. Don't weigh it and say, you know what? I'm going to do this, but I'm not going to do this. If you're going to keep the law, keep all of the law. Right? Blameless. So you can get your reward. Right? You got it, King.
And I want to touch on that. I want to read 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 67. It reads, behold, the Most High himself is the judge. Fear of him, leave off from your sins, and forget your iniquities, to meddle with them. It's like to meddle no more with them forever. So shall God lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. So you got to leave off these sins, man. This is dedication is about leaving off sin. Every day is about leaving off sin, but how much more during the time when our forefathers fought so valiantly, man, to cleanse the temple. And look how much hell they endured, man. And they died one by one, man. Judas, Jonathan was slain treacherously. Simon, look at the work these men put in, man, for Yahweh Bashmi Abashad. Hey, Simon said, well, probably my favorite precept in the scriptures in 1 Maccabees 13, 6 and 7. Doubtless I will avenge my nation, man. Doubt, meaning no doubt, I'm gonna avenge my nation. This thing is about vengeance, man. That's what Simon said, man. He said, and the sanctuary for all the heathen are gathered together to destroy us out of very malice, paraphrasing, man. Against our wives and our children, greatly paraphrasing. So you're going to have men like the Most High set up, our forefathers, that went 1,000 times harder for the Most High, man. And you have to have that same spirit. You got to leave off these sins, man, for your salvation and respect for the men that laid the groundwork before you, man. God forbid it's the feast of dedication. And imagine Judas being in the room. You're doing that sin, man. They was killing wicked Israelites too. Imagine Judas, Simon, and Jonathan there with you, man. It's the feast of dedication, and you sneak off and you want to smoke a cigarette, and they're watching you. It's the feast of dedication. You're still being proud. You're freaking off. You got to think about you have to have some respect, man. And the Lord said, just not with a rude man, lest thy ancestors be disgraced, man. You got to think about the work that Yahweh Bashrim Shah put before your forefathers, man. Read Ecclesiasticus, man. You got X amount of chapters that are strictly dedicated to famous men. Famous men. The Most High, he talks of Simon, right? It speaks of Shem. He speaks of David, Hezekiah. It's just back to back men that the Most High has put chapters about for you to look at and respect, man. Leave off these sins. Right? Let me read on. The point I want is verse 67. Verse 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. What does that mean? They're going to feed you being idle. When you're idle, you're not moving. Doesn't mean you're slothful. Esau, you're going to gather up the slothful and feed them. No, idle means against your will. And they're going to feed you with things offered unto idols. Same thing in the time of Maccabees, man. Same spirit. Read, like the brother said, read 2 Maccabees 6 and Eleazar. I believe he was 90 years old. 90 years old, man. Read that man's mind, man. Or read how his mind worked. He didn't even pretend to eat the pork, man. He thought of the people that would come after him, man. And he was 90. Read those 7 brothers, man. Read about their mother who had to watch all her sons be tortured. Then she got her younger son, so you better be like your brothers. And he said, hold on, hey, look, man, you know I'm going to be like my brothers, man. He said, what wait ye for? You know, why are we talking about this, man? You know what I'm about. I'm ready to die for the Lord. That's a bold spirit. It's easy to read, man. But in that moment, you want the spirit to be, if that's your lot, to be able to endure that and go through that, man. That's why it's important to pray for faith. Yeah, you got the breakdowns. You can know all of this, and you can know that and have all these wives and all this money, but is your faith is going to keep you rooted in those days of adversity. Your belief in the Most High, your fear of the Most High, your faith, and your wisdom. Right? Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of thy times. So I don't know what brothers are praying for, and if you're in the spirit of, I need another wife, Lord, please just give me another wife. I need 2 more wives because I need one to do my laundry, and I want one to do the cooking, and I want one. Oh Lord, please, oh God, no, why? Right? You're crying because you can't get your second wife, and the Lord is not dealing with that. Man. Lord, please, Lord, just give me this job. They're paying this $10 more. All you pray for is that job. The job. You said knock, Lord, and you will open. I'm knocking, Lord. You're fasting for that job. You're fasting for money, but you're not doing it for wisdom. You're not doing it. I mean, you're not praying for the fear of the Most High to be increased in you. You're not praying for more faith. You're just praying for carnal things. The Most High said they're going to take certain men and feed you being an idol with things offered unto idols. Now, I want to read that in the GNT, right? This 2nd Ezra 16 and 68. A vast mob of people is ready now to descend on you and devour you like flames. They will drag some of you off and force you to eat pagan sacrifices. If you give in to them, they will ridicule you, mock you, and humiliate you. In many places near the cities, there will be violent persecution against those that fear the Lord. The attackers will act like wild people. They will plunder and destroy without pity all those that still fear the Lord. They will turn them out of their homes and take away all their possessions. This will be the time of testing. Let me read that again. This will be the time of testing for my chosen people, and they will prove to be as pure as refined gold. The Most High said that's the GNT though, but it said this is the time of testing. Man. The Lord said if you consent unto them, they're gonna mock you, man, and destroy you. Imagine eating pork, man. You're constrained against your will. Hey, I'll eat it. I'll eat one bite. It's not that bad. It's only pork. I'm under grace. Don't turn into a Christian. The Lord will forgive me. Hey, that it's over, man. Hey, it's over. Now the Most High could do what he wanted to do, but hey, in that moment, that was your test. You failed. All of the stuff you did now, in that moment, you failed. Ain't no point in being an all-star. You got these, one more point, you got all these athletes that are good in the regular season. Then the playoffs come, and they can't do nothing, man. They call them stat padders. They pad up the stats in the regular season. They win the MVP. Playoffs come, nowhere to be found. People in college, high school, 4.0, never pass their finals, man, when it's time. Don't be that guy. Where you're mighty now, and then in that day, the time of testing for the chosen people, you fail, man. And you say, look, I'll eat that muscle. Just throw some of that red sauce on it. Right? Save my wife and my daughter. Give me that lobster. Esau said, well, you crack it open. So you crack it open with your teeth. Dig in there. And he say, dig in there. So you dig the lobster. We say, eat it. And you eat it. And you say, well, it's really not that bad. Right? You got it, King.
Con. This book of 1 Corinthians chapter 9 and verse number 24 says, know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize. So run that ye may obtain. Well, we're in the last days, so you got to kick up that pace and run to where you may enter into everlasting life. Don't slow up and don't let anybody else slow you up. Don't let anybody take your crown. The Lord said, and every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run, not as uncertain. And that's the point that I wanted, man. Because if you win this thing and you don't know why you're here, you don't know why you read, you don't know what this truth stands for, you don't know why you keeping the Feast of Dedications, you don't know why you go to camp, you don't know why you watch the videos, you're just running uncertain. And you're going to eventually trip. You're going to gaze at the stars. You're going to gaze around. You're going to be tripped up by the elements. You're going to slow up. You're not going to have that same drive. If you're uncertain while you're running, what are you here for? I mean, everything that you do it for a reason. You catch the bus so you can get to your location. You have a watch so you can look at the time. You read so that you could get built up. You pray so that you could be heard. What are you in this truth for? What are you running full blast or full speed or running at all for, man? Don't forget what you're doing, and don't forget what this thing is about. It says, I therefore so run, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air, meaning not for no reason. You're not just swinging and everything you're doing is in vain, man. Understand that this truth, right, is a once in a lifetime opportunity. This is an opportunity for you to get the kingdom of heaven. This isn't something that you could come back to and that the Most High will always have mercy upon you with. If you fall away now, you may not ever come back. You got a lot of people now dusting off their garments, trying to come back in the truth, right? Lukewarm, they looking where things is heating up. They trying to figure out when they're going to make up their mind to be on fire for the Lord. You're going to have the opportunity next day. Because the Lord can sift you out in a matter of seconds and a thief in the night. It says, I'm going to read that again. So therefore, so run, not as uncertainly. So fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So you have to fight in this thing. You have to run in this thing. You have to be certain in this thing. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection. And that's multifold. That's your anger, your slothfulness, right? Whatever the hell you got going, your drunkenness, or whatever secret sins you got to bring your body into subjection, your lust. All of these things have to be subdued. If it's not subdued, that's essentially weight as you're running, like you read about in the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter, and you're not going to finish the race. You're going to slow up, right? You're going to dive drought, and you're going to pill over. It says, lest that by any means, when I had preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. So Paul said, look, I could have done all this work. And this is not Saul, this is Paul. He's been woken up. He's traveling at this point. He's at the church of Corinth. He's not a nobody. He's a vessel chosen for the Most High through the hand of Yahweh Shai. And yet with all of that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding and prophecy that he knew, he still knew he could be a castaway. So don't think that you're built up. The Lord said, take heed as you stand, lest you fall, paraphrasing great. In the book of 1 Corinthians 10 and 11 all the way down. So you have to know that any given time I could fall, I could give up gas, right? I could fall out this truth. So stay on fire and run that race and understand why you're running. If you lose track of why you're running it for that crown, then everything else may start to slow up as well. You got it.
I want to get this to add to that real quick. This Hebrews chapter 12 and 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. So the Most High said, wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses. It's not talking about an actual cloud or a chariot, right? The great cloud of witnesses is just a dark, or really a metaphor of everybody who finished the race, right? When you read Hebrews 11, those are the great cloud of witnesses. You read about all of the men that had the faith of Yahweh Shai and didn't see the promises. So the Lord he used a lot of like in 1 Corinthians 9, a lot of Greek so-called similitudes and analogies and real-time circumstances for the people. So he did a race because that was prevalent at the time. He did boxing, that was prevalent at the time. This is another race analogy. So he's likening you running the truth, running the race in this truth, and everybody's witnessing it. Everybody that finished the great cloud is everybody that finished the race. Imagine running the race and Abraham's there, Isaac, Jacob, Noah. You're going to go all out. No niggas are there. No wicked men, just all righteous men. Enoch, Methuselah, David, Hezekiah. And it's a spiritual race. And they're all sitting there and they all have crowns. And Yahweh Shai's at the finish line with your crown. And you're in the race. And they're all sitting there just watching you. right? That's what the Most High is saying. You got to visualize it, man. You got to visualize yourself in this race, man. And all of your forefathers that finished this thing, all of the 7 brothers are there. And they're sitting next to Daniel. And Daniel is sitting next to Jeremiah. And then Isaiah's talking to Haggai about you, wondering if you're going to finish the race. And then Zerubbabel and Joshua are there talking about the temple. And everybody's there. Judas Maccabees and Simon and Jonathan, they have front row seats, man. Right? And you're lined up in the race. And you're in this race in lane 1. Then you got a brother in lane 2. And everybody's running the race. And everybody's trying to get these crowns, man. Right? So let's read it again. Hebrews 12:1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, man. And they do this in the sports world, man. You might have a Hall of Fame night. All of the Hall of Famers of the Lakers, they coming out. Magic Johnson, what's the Kareem, Abdul-Jabbar, James Worthy, right? All of these top guys, they come out. Then you got these guys since their first game or they second year, and they show out, man. They show out when the Hall of Famers come. They may do Hall of Fame night ring, ceremony ring. They hanging the banners up. Everybody get their ring. Those are the games where people tend to perform highest, man. You got the top games at Madison Square Garden, man. Everybody loved to hoop at Madison Square Garden, man. Drop 55, 63, 70, because it's something about that arena and the witnesses that watch. Right? That's just what happens, man. Home field advantage. It's just a thing, right? Hey, that's what this truth is about, man. Everybody's watching, man. On a parabolic level, not literal. Everybody's watching you run this race. You better put that sin away, man. They're watching you. The sin, what is the sin that doth easily beset you? Everybody has one. Man. Well, I don't have a sin that easily besets me. No, everybody's dealing with something, man. And you know what you're dealing with. Lay it aside, man. It can't be done. You could win this race. Oh, you got a whole people that finished it. You could do it. They walk the earth like you walk the earth. They breathe like you breathe. They had faith, though. They had integrity, man. The Lord said, lay aside the sin that doth easily beset you, man. Take them weights off that's holding you back, man. And run with patience the race that is set before us. Right? Let me read verse 2. Looking unto Yahweh, the author and finisher of our faith. So Yahweh Shai is the beginning and the end of this race. All right, that's what it's saying. The author is the beginning. The author and finisher of our faith, which is the Alpha and Omega, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising shame, and is set down at the right hand of the Most High. For consider him that endured. Let me read that again. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds. Because a lot of brothers, you run in the race, you getting weary, right? You're fainting in your mind. I don't know if I can finish this. Consider Yahweh Shai. Think about him, man. He didn't give up. He didn't fall out the race. He is the race. He's the author and finisher, man. He set the standard. If you weary and fainting in your minds, you didn't go through half of what Yahweh Shai went through. That's what Paul is reminding you. Yahweh Shai had a harder race. He is the race. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. Brother, you got to tap deep within, man. Right? One more. Verse 4. Ye have not resisted unto blood, striving against sin. Man, you didn't deal with death yet, man. You didn't resist this truth until blood was shed as you were striving with sin. You're still in this thing. You're at home. You might be in your apartment, your condo, your house, man. You're watching the live. Put that demon aside, man, and run this race, man. But you got it.
Con, you wanted to get something else or? Okay, Con. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 3, and verse number 2. It says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. So you got to keep watch. Just because things are dying down somewhat, as you may look and see the war, don't mean that it's not brewing up behind closed doors. Everything isn't vigilant that you may see. Right? You got confederacies being formed as we speak right now. Different nations rising up. Somebody itching to push the button. a prime minister about to be killed, right? These things you got to be on right on the tip, watching these things unfold, because you don't want to be the last one that has understanding about what's going on, because you're not going to be prepared. So keep watch and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, right? Whether that be anything in your life, right? Whatever situation you got going on, whatever spirit that's troubling you, strengthen it up for the Most High, take it away from you. Now that's a part of your body that's dying away, which you can't, compact together. It says, for I have not found our works perfect before God. Remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. So if you're not watching and you're not diligent, the Lord's going to visit you in a moment, in a day, but you know if not, he's going to blow out your candlestick. So continue to keep the feast of dedications in a sincere spirit, right? Not in vanity, drunkenness, right? And just to eat, but to understand what this whole feast is about. Read the book of 1st and 2nd Maccabees. Read as much as you can through the spirit that will allow you to read. Make sure you tapping into that warlike spirit, the priest spirit. You understand, going into the temple, understanding you got to dedicate yourself with whole stones, new stones. Take away that old wicked man, right, that's been trying to creep and lay hold upon you, and make yourself, a living sacrifice for the Most High. You got it, King.
I'm gonna read First Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 48. And made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick and the altar of burnt offering and of incense and the table. And upon the altar they burned incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted, that they might give light in the temple. You have to give light in the temple, right? We are the 7 churches, man. The 7 candlesticks through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And what light are you giving in the temple, man? Is your light fading away? Is your candle burning out? Are you hiding your light and your lamp under a bushel, man? You understand? So every brother has to give light in the temple and bring forth your gifts and wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to the temple, that it may constantly be burning through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So with that, we're going to close up. We'll take questions like we always do. For those who have them, call in 213-603-9096, and the PIN number is 94809-305. All right, so 94809-305. With that, Brother Naquan.
Shalom, Brother Wright.
From Yahshua. Shalom.